Nothing disgusts me more than a sexual abuser attempting to cover his tracks, and thankfully, he cannot do that now.
I went to a meet and greet of a very popular YouTuber. After the meet and greet, it became apparent that the YouTuber was attracted to me and asked me to go to the cinema the next day. Despite the fact that he was 23 and I was 16, I agreed because I was a huge fan. Before I met with him the next day, we exchanged Facebook messages, one of which was him confirming that it was our secret. Once we were in the movie theatre, we kissed, and I knew that that was the edge of my comfort zone, and I didn't want to go any further than that. Later on in the film, he tried to put his hands on and near various parts of my body that I wasn't comfortable with, so I moved them away. He then tried to move my hands onto different parts of his body, and again I pulled them away because I didn't want my hands there. At that point I was thinking of excuses to leave because I felt extremely uncomfortable, but when I said I had to go catch my bus, he got very annoyed, and because I'm someone who feels like they have to see things through, otherwise they'll regret it, I sat back down again. After we left the cinema, he literally ran away. Without saying goodbye, he literally ran away from me. And the experience would have ended there if I had not messaged him whilst I was walking to the bus stop on my own, saying, "You are horrible, full stop," which I feel like I was entitled to say after that experience. His reply was, "You shouldn't have tricked me then." This last message is what I want to focus on, because it suggests that 1, I had agreed to do anything more than go to the cinema with him, 2, because I let him kiss me he was entitled to do anything else, and 3, that his niceness only lasted as long as I held sexual promise. What makes me really angry is that this message made me feel guilty enough to send a message the next day when he didn't reply, saying, "It was lovely seeing you though, I hope you have a good day tomorrow." And this was because I was a fan and I still didn't want him to hate me. I'm obviously no longer a fan of this person, but it's taken me a year to realise how manipulative he was and how I was taken advantage of both as a minor and as a fan. The person I had this experience with was Sam Pepper, and whilst I haven't let it define me and I don't want it to define me as a person online, it's become evident from his recent videos that he hasn't changed, and I feel like I have a responsibility to let everyone know so that it doesn't happen to anyone else.
I want to give you a big warm thank you, Dottie, for bringing this truth to light about this individual. I know it takes a lot of strength and a lot of bravery to come out with stories like this and your experiences of being sexually abused or being made out to be something that it's your fault for making him kiss you or making him sexual with you, that it's your fault. If you've been a subscriber of mine on my channel for any amount of time, you would know that I am a big advocate against sexual assault of all degrees, that I have made countless videos against this. I have made videos talking about the claim she is asking for it, and this is wrong on so many levels, and it's very clear that Sam Pepper has this mentality of she was asking for it. And this is so wrong on so many different levels that I'm not going to repeat, but I just want to give you a big thank you and say thank you for coming out about this, because it's people like you, it is victims like yourself who make people who are sexual abusers known to the public so they can be held accountable for their actions and what they have done to harm others. And that is one of the most important things for people, victims such as ourselves, is to come out and talk openly, expose these types of people for who they are, and not live in the shame and live in the guilt of fear that these people instill in us. For those of you who don't know, I have a video on my channel that I made a long time ago called Mr. Repsion Rises, where I share about my sexual abuse within the church that happened to me at a younger age. And it's very traumatizing when people who you trust, people who you look up to, whether that be YouTubers, whether that be celebrities, whether that be people in the church, take advantage of their power, take advantage of your trust, and sexually abuse you. It is wrong on every single level, and it's only through the victims who are sexually abused when we speak out is there going to have any change against this type of behavior. But ladies and gentlemen, I am not done yet. Sam Pepper made a third video. He made a part 2 video of a woman doing the exact same conduct of his first video. He made now a third video, which was ironic because I tweeted out the other day that this is what he was going to do. He attempts to cover his ass by sitting in front of the camera, standing in front of the camera, talking about sexual assault and why it is wrong. What disgusts me so much about this is that he has the audacity to sit there and talk about sexual assault as this bad thing when he himself is a sexual abuser and has the mentality that she's asking for it. She deserves to have this happen to her. That you, Sam Pepper, have to make a woman feel shamed or guilty because she wouldn't do something sexual with you. Sam Pepper, what gives you the right to think that if you kiss someone or you handcuff someone to them that they have to kiss you, that they have to be physically intimate with you? What irritates me and outrages me more than anything is that you, Sam Pepper, have the audacity to make a third video claiming that this is a social experiment. Well, let me tell you something. One, if this was a social experiment, you should have said something at the start of your video. I have seen plenty of YouTube videos that are social experiments that give a disclaimer saying that this is a social experiment. But even if this was a social experiment, it doesn't justify anything because number two, what you have done here is still sexual assault. Number three, you mentioned that all the participants that you had in the video, you had their consent. This was scripted. And you know why I don't believe this? Because if it was truly scripted, why have you not released any footage of you asking them permission or of you telling them, hey, this is a scripted prank, we're doing this as a social experiment, do we have your permission to do this? I mean, you have your camera on you in all these different sections of your video, so I assume if you really were asking for consent to touch these people inappropriately, that you would have video evidence to showcase that you did with these individuals. And for trying to normalize this as a still prank/social experiment doesn't change the fact that what you've done is wrong. It is sexual assault. But you have the guts to stand on camera and say that sexual assault is a real problem in our world. Yeah, it is. And people like you contribute to that problem by your mentality. Mentality that if a girl is wearing a particular type of clothing that you can touch her inappropriately. The mentality that if you kiss someone, that means you can put your hands all over their body. The mentality that it is her fault and that she tricked you by holding your hand or kissing you on the cheek. I've dealt with that type of behavior. And that type of behavior was one of the most damaging things to my self-esteem that I have ever had in my life through the sexual abuse that happened in my church. I was made out to feel as if what happened to me was my fault. But not only that, I was threatened. I was told that if I told anybody, that if I opened up about it, that my family would be hurt. Of course, when you're a young teenage boy and the people who you look up to, who you trusted, take advantage of you, and now they're threatening you, how exactly are you supposed to respond in this type of situation? I held it in for almost 3 years of my life until my parents put me into therapy because they knew that something was wrong with me. They knew that something was troubling me and I wouldn't talk about it. I had everything built up so much inside me of the self-esteem that I was worthless, that I had no value, that I was I was a piece of garbage. I felt so much guilt that I started self-harming. I eventually attempted suicide. And it wasn't until my therapist recommended that I open up and tell someone about this other than just him, and that is what led me to make the video Mr. Repzion Rises, which is still on my channel to this very day. People like Sam Pepper need to be held responsible for the mentality that they have, that the mentality that they can't control themselves, that a girl deserves to be sexual with them simply because they got pecked on the cheek. Sexual assault is a real issue, and people like Sam Pepper attempting to facade it over his own sexual abuse and attempt to bring awareness to sexual abuse when he's a sexual abuser is not only insulting, but degrading at most. It is no different than a pedophile getting up on stage and doing a speech on the issues of child pornography and why it's wrong. That would never happen. And here on your own YouTube channel, Sam Pepper, you have the guts to do that. You, Sam Pepper, are nothing more than a fraudulent fake who gets entertainment value out of sexual assault and then attempts to eel your way out of it by making an anti-sexual assault video on your own goddamn fucking YouTube channel. People like yourself are, in fact, vile. And I sincerely hope that this is the end of your YouTube career. Because now you've been exposed for the real sexual abuser that you are. And you know, I have to ask the question, guys. What is it with these top YouTubers and their sexual abusing tactics? I believe that we are not talking about sexual assault in the YouTube community enough. It seems to me that the only time sexual assault is even brought up is typically when issues such as a YouTuber is found out and someone comes forward with their abuse story. This should not be the case. When sexual abuse happens, the best choice and option you have at that very moment is to report it to the police or tell someone that you trust. Because when you don't, the shame and guilt that you feel from this experience will eat you away inside until you do something very damaging to yourself. In my case, it was self-harm and suicide. The only way we're going to battle these types of issues is by not staying silent. And this young girl, Dottie, is the first step towards that. My name is Daniel Solisbach, also known as Mr. Repzion. Please watch her video and give her some support down below. Her video is linked down below. All videos referenced are linked down below in the description. Thank you for watching. Peace, the Rep, out.